Shalom.
Shalom.
So I want to start off by saying, Call Halayim Lo Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makakadash. Want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to all and the Akim, spreading the truth at the four corners of this earth. My name is Asha Allah.
This is Brother Masha.
Brother Dive.
And tonight we just coming at you with another lesson showing that the Israelites are a people of color. You know, they're not, when you look up the prophets, you know, and the judges, you know, you don't see how the Bible describes them, you know.
Right, when you watch these movies and all these different things that are supposedly trying to show our forefathers, it's not what the scriptures say about them. Not.
This is Job 9 and verse 24. It says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" So it says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Now we know through Malachi 1 and 4 that Esau, Edom, is the border of wickedness. And it says, back in that Job, it says, he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. You know, so when you look up Moses, you know, when you look up Joseph, you know, when you look up Paul, when you look up these people of the scriptures, you know, you see them with their faces change. You know, it says they cover up the faces of the judges thereof. You know, they look like Edomites. They look like so-called white men. You know, and that's not how the scriptures describe them. We can head to that Exodus 2. Exodus 2. Actually, no. Let me grab the definition first. This is in the Zondervan. This is in the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary. And this is the definition of Ham. It says, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. You know, so it says he became the progenitor of the dark races. And when you go into the word progenitor, it just means ancestor, a direct line from. So he was the direct line of the dark races, not the Negroes. But who? The Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. You know, but our people were commonly mistaken as Egyptians. Why? Because we were dark skinned. We were dark skinned. So I have this Exodus 2, and I'm going to start at verse 16. It says, "Now the priests of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the throes of water with filled the throes to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came to Ruel their father, he said, How is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock." You know, so who were they calling this Egyptian? They were calling the Egyptian Moses.
They were calling Moses the Egyptian.
Yeah, it's calling Moses the Egyptian. Slakia. They was calling Moses the Egyptian. Why? Because he was dark skinned. He looked like an Egyptian.
Con. Yeah, you know, and to back up the brother, what he was saying, all right, because even in this account in Exodus the 4th chapter, all right, it shows you that Moses was a dark skinned man. All right. This is Exodus chapter 4 and verse starting at 6. "And the Lord said furthermore unto him," and he's speaking to Moses, "Put now thine hand into thy bosom." And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, Put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it was turned as his other flesh. So right here, the Lord told Moses to put his hand into his bosom, so that that could be a miracle that he could perform when he went to the children of Israel. And what happened was his hand turned white, leprous as snow. All right, so in the times that we're in, that'll be pretty much his hand became pale. All right, and when it says when he put it back in, it became as his other flesh. You know, so showing you that it's saying it became white as snow. It became light because originally his hand it was his he was a dark skinned man. Because it wouldn't make sense if he was light skinned, he was pale, and then it became it wouldn't make sense. That's why I said white as snow.
Right, it wouldn't be that great of a miracle if he was a white man and he put his hand into a bosom and his hand came out white, and then he put his hand back in his bosom and it was
Right.
still white. That was one that was meant to be one of the signs to show that Yahweh was working with Moses, and that wouldn't have been that great of a sign if that would have been the case.
Right.
But I got this Genesis 50 going into how us as a people were also mistaken as the Egyptians, right? Just like and like the brother said, the Egyptians from that definition that he brought out from the dictionary, they were they were a dark skinned race, right? But this is Genesis 50 verse 7. It says, and Joseph went up to bury his father, speaking about Jacob, who got his name changed to Israel. It says, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, and all the house of Joseph, and his brethren, and his father's house. Only their little ones and their flocks and their herds they left in Goshen, in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan, and they mourned with a great, very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning of the floor of Atad, they said, this is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians, wherefore the name of it was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan, right? But these Canaanites saw us, the children of Israel, mourning, and they said that this is a very grievous mourning for the Egyptians, right? When when you understand that this is speaking about Israelites, right? And they thought they were Egyptians because we had the characteristic of the same skin color as the Egyptian, right?
Right. You want to also grab Genesis 42.
Yeah.
Um, Genesis 42, and really you can start at verse 1. Well, I got it if you don't. This is Genesis 42 and verse 1. It says, now when Jacob saw there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do you look one upon another? And he said, behold, I have heard there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother Jacob, sent not with his brethren, for he said, lest peradventure mischief befall him. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto him, and spake roughly unto him, and said unto him, whence forth ye? And they said, from the land of Canaan, to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not. No, Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not. Yeah. So when the famine hit, Jacob sent his 10 sons to go buy food in Egypt, and Joseph was the governor of the land at the time, who sold corn onto him. And so when it came time to come face to face with his brethren, Joseph saw his brethren and he knew them and he knew them, but he acted strange onto him. He acted like, he didn't know him, and he spoke rugged with them, but they didn't recognize Joseph. Why? Because he looked as an Egyptian.
Yeah, showing that he was a dark skinned man and he blended in with those Egyptians. Because like the definition the brother read earlier, it said Ham was the father of the dark races, but not the Negroes, but showing you that they were dark skinned people as well, and that they look just alike.
Right, because we fall under the land of Shem, through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So we're two different people, classes of people, but we have similar features as far as being dark skinned.
I got this account where Paul, even in the New Testament, was mistaken to be an Egyptian. Right. This is Acts 21:37. It says, and as Paul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, may I speak unto thee? Who said, canst thou speak Greek? Art not thou that Egyptian which before these days made us an uproar and led us out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers? Right. So this man mistake Paul for an Egyptian. Right. Just reiterating the point that we've been going into, showing that we are dark-skinned people.
Right. Paul was from the tribe of Benjamin.
Right. It speaks about that. Romans 11. I'm going to grab it real quick just because I quoted it. This is Romans 11 and verse 1. It says, I say then, hath the Most High cast away his people? Yahweh forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham of the tribe of Benjamin. All right, so he was an Israelite and he had skin comparable to an Egyptian.
Can you look up a scripture where it says Niger?
Yeah, it's
I think I lost it.
Acts 13.
Yeah, Acts 13:1. I got it.
Okay.
This is Acts chapter 13 and verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simon that was called Niger, and Lucius of Cyrene, and Menahem, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul.
All right, so Barnabas and Simeon were called Niger, and when you go into that word, it just means black. So really they was called black men, just like how we're called black men today. None of us is actually black, actually the skin color black, but they called them black men, showing them that they were dark skinned people. All right. Does anyone have anything else?
No, I don't.
Okay, so with that, hopefully that was edifying and showing that the Israelites were a people of color. They were not these so-called white men that are going that you see when it talks about the prophets.
Right. Yahushua wasn't a white man. Moses wasn't a white man. And that is it's consistent. There's a consistency because we were dark-skinned people.
So with that, I just want to say, call Halayim Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Makakadash. Want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders, Grand Millstone, peace and citation, Fulek, and the Akar Spanish truth throughout the four corners of this earth. Shalom.
Shalom.